And welcome back to Let's Play Disgaea, Hour of Darkness. Sorry for not having a video uploaded yesterday. I understand that at the moment, at best, there's only like 5 people watching this, but still, breaking schedule is a bad habit to get into. So, not too much has changed since the last video, but I did take the time to build up the Arms Master slightly, so now its level has been doubled, and it's actually giving me triple weapon experience, which sounds like a lot compared to what I was getting before, but trust me, the requirements for leveling up your weapon mastery goes up pretty heavily with each level, so while this will expedite the process slightly, it'll still take quite a bit of attacks to get a level up. Other than that, I improved a lot of my character's equipment slightly, because I used one of my characters that I was building up to unlock the character classes to pass the promotion exams and the more expensive stuff bills. As you can see, more expensive stuff is indeed more expensive. This was the most expensive item type last time before I passed the bill. This is the most expensive thing now, relative to its weapon type. So as you can see, that's like a 5 times increase to price. Actually, a bit more, but whatever. Let's not get too hung up on the math. Actually, that was like a 10 times increase. I look pretty silly when I say silly things like that. And armor's also pretty expensive, but we're not too worried about that right now. What I did also do is had them pass the bills for footwear and glasses. I didn't pass the bill for belts, because honestly belts aren't that useful compared to the other items that you can buy from passing those bills. I may get them eventually, but they're not really that useful for optimizing your character's stats, so I don't really care to use them. With that out of the way, let's go to the 3rd stage of Dinero Palace, the Flashy Passage. So we get a little backstory on King Katrevskoy there, and he had a less than dignified death. Now, Flashy Passage is a slightly interesting stage. Just have a ton of weak enemies surrounding the base panel, and slightly stronger enemies held at certain positions. These guys have bows, and here's a lady with a spear. So, let's see, what's a good way to approach this? Just checking to see if any of these lines share a common weakness. These 3 have 2 people who are weak to ice. So we can have Flan do this. And that's pretty good, because I can have one of my weaker characters just throw in a little light tap to get the kill. You might have noticed that Lucille had an extra spell there. She got the Magic Boost spell, which I believe Flan also has at the moment. It just increases your intelligence for extra magic damage. So pretty nice. And who do I want Laharl to go attack? I can just have him hold this point, and then people will swarm around him and he can use Blazing Knuckle. Blazing Knuckle isn't quite as powerful against people who are not weak to it, because it is classified as a weak damage skill, so it doesn't do like a huge amount of damage, but it's still useful to set up, I think, just because it has a good area of effect. So yeah, no. Sometimes I screw up on the perspective, and these attacks with specific ranges tend to throw me off. I kind of miss how guns work in this game, because not only did guns get a lot weaker in succeeding games, that little attribute they had of having a lot of elemental attacks but are physically attributed, I kind of like that. I wish they had done more with that. Instead, they kind of spread out elemental attributes to different weapon types, and I found that to be really annoying, because it actually ended up nerfing certain weapons in a lot of situations. Like, Hurricane Slash in this game isn't wind elemental, it's just a non-elemental attack. In later games, they decide, you know what, it would make more sense if it was wind elemental, and that ended up just making it a lot harder to use. Because now there's tons of stuff that resist it, and in Disgaea 2, they introduced character-specific abilities, and one of the monster types was just outright immune to wind attacks, so one of your like main physical attacks for swords just didn't work against anything. So Pretty Raid does do decent damage against stuff that's really, really weak. And that's basically the perfect way these enemies could have set themselves up. They're attacking my strongest characters and surrounding Laharl, so he can get some good damage in. I will say this, Guts isn't quite as defensively impressive as everyone else, but because of his high level relative to most of these guys, he shouldn't take too much damage, except from that person. Oh, Laharl, you ruined it. Oh well, I guess I can just throw another person in there if I want. May as well get some mileage out of all these units I created. Now the question is, should I have Flan heal Guts? Yeah. So something about heal spells in this game, I'm already forgetting if I mentioned this or not, but in future Disgaea titles, healing effectiveness is determined by the resist stat. In this game, it's determined by the intelligence stat, because they figured, well, you know, it's a magic spell. Let's just have it run off the intelligence stat. I don't really know why they changed it to resist stat. I guess they just felt they wanted the resist stat to do more. Take her out. Oh, this ended up doing okay on experience. See if Spike can take this guy out with a triple strike, or girl rather. As you can see, the ninja and Ronin classes really step it up when they get some good stuff going for them. They just develop a lot faster than the base classes. I actually considered not using them because they're very common choices for teams just because of the obvious benefits of using them. But I figured, why give myself? A lot of people don't actually use the characters that are coming in later because they've already developed their team, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to use them, and I've got a Mage Knight on my team. Almost no one uses that class, so I figure that'll keep it a little interesting. And since Guts has that Arm Master, let's see how it's going. Decent. We'll take a look at it again after his next action to see how much it goes up. One unfortunate thing about healing spells, and this is why I'm kind of reluctant to use them, is because healing spells do not give any experience to you in this game as opposed to later Disgaea games where any support spell that you use gives you a small amount of experience so that characters focused on them can actually, you know, keep their levels fairly balanced with the rest of the party. So you do have to put some consideration into when you have characters who learn both offensive attacks and support attacks, when they do what. Anyways, set up a little combo here with a lot of fire damage. See how this goes. Very nice. Suppose I should also mention, a few of my characters are using equipment that I item worlded, so they're doing pretty good with their damage. Like, Fu has an item worlded axe, and item worlded stuff, like, even up to just, like, going through the 10 floors will usually be twice as strong as, like, the weakest relative item you could buy at the store for that level of expensiveness. If it sounds weird kind of explaining that, that's just because I'm trying to explain a lot of things in one sentence. Basically, if I were to go and level up a common sword to level 10, it would have been stronger than a sword breaker at the start of the game. That's basically the trend. Like, you level up a rank 1 item, it'll be twice as strong as a rank 3 item. So you can imagine leveling up a rank 3 item will be pretty good, but it'll be a while before we can be strong enough to do that, and not have a looming threat of getting wiped out by the strong enemies in the item world. I know I can skip past the levels and just keep going and level up my weapons a lot, but the thing is, every 10 floors you come across the item generals, and killing them gives huge stat boosts to your weapons, so you kind of want to do that. So let's see, what are these guys weak to? This guy's weak to ice, so I'll see if I can... I guess I'll just hit him. No sense wasting MP on trying to hit multiple guys when only one of them's going to be really hurt by it. And this guy was weak to wind, so we'll get that Mega Wind spell in there. So yeah, this is where Flan really excels. Having all these spells, she can just nail these guys with their weaknesses and hit them for huge damage.
Here I come.
And generally, I won't have to worry too much about the half damage bug, because it will come up every once in a while. At least one enemy is going to have it in your stages, so while that is kind of annoying, it doesn't completely, like, get rid of her usefulness. Alright, Guts took an action there. Let's see how his experience on the weapon is doing now. So yeah, that's a pretty good increase. If I were, like, keeping track of everyone's experience increases, you'd see he's getting significantly more per action. And this guy is also weak to wind. I haven't actually run into anyone in the with the half damage bug in this fight, except right there. Figures. It's funny, I usually just, like, whenever I see something that Laharl could easily take care of, I usually just send him to do it. I'm trying not to do that in this run, just to give my team a good balance. Ooh, that was good. And we got cross-trainers. That's the next level of the shoes equipment. I actually kind of misspoke about, like, giving the slippers to Spike to increase his speed. As, while these slippers do have a speed stat, it's because they have a coach specialist on it, which increases the speed stat. The slippers actually naturally do not have any speed unless they have a specialist on it that increases it. These cross-trainers, however, do. Oh, there's actually a couple of ones that I wanted to note here. That statistician, that actually increases the amount of experience you get per action, and it's a percentage based on if it's level. So one statistician increases your experience gain by 1%. So level 101 increases it by 100%, or doubles it basically. And statisticians cap out at 300, so you can get triple experience for having one on your team. New muscle, nice. Or rather, on your equipment. Unlike future games, however, the statisticians do have a limit. They can only increase your experience gain up to 3 times, no matter how many you have. So, like, say I had 2 statisticians that were level 300 on a piece of Laharl's equipment, I would not be getting 6 times as much experience, I'd only be getting 3 times as much. Later games fixed this because the fact that statisticians cap out so early made it hard to get experience in the post-game. So let's go to the Lavish Hall and see what we've got.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. When you begun my military campaign, I shall become the net overlord.
Long time no see, Hog Miser.
Who's there?
Don't tell me you've forgotten me.
Who are you?
Laharl, the heir to the throne, King Krichevskoy's son.
Oh, yeah. Ever since the king died, I knew I was getting something. So it was you, Prince.
You call yourself a vessel? You know how demons are. You always say not to be so picky about the details. I'm not a detail. Oh, don't be so self-centered.
I'm glad you helped refresh my memory. It was nagging me, like a fishbone stuck in my throat.
Fishbone? You?
Well, what do you want?
What do you mean, what do I want? Now that my old man's dead, I'm the Netherworld's next overlord. I'm taking back everything that's mine, and the rest of your fortune, too.
Don't push your luck. Just because you're the king's son, it doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. It's strength that counts in another world. If you want what is now mine, you'll have to take it by force.
That's exactly what I had in mind. Enough talk. Let's go.
Fighting over money and power. Were the angels right about demons? If they really are evil, then...
Okay, time for our next boss fight, Hogmiser. So this is a little funny. These fighters here have the class Wall of Meat. And that's basically the only purpose they serve, is just get in your way. That was a pretty hefty fire weakness right there. It'd be a shame if someone with a strong fire spell were to take advantage of that. There we go. These guys are weak to wind. This guy's also weak to fire. If I can set it up, I can get a rapid fire on him. Yeah. So we'll have someone take out this guy right here. See if this works. Helena also has an item worlded bow, so her damage should be going up. I did get the poison. Didn't really feel like letting this guy stick around until it kills him. That triple strike was kind of unnecessary, but I think it looks cool, so I did it anyway. So Hogmiser in the back there is easily the strongest guy here, as is befitting of his stats as a boss. I only mention that because the other guys aren't particularly threatening. So let's check out his stats. Pretty good attack, very high HP, but otherwise not too impressive, and like even Laharl's own attack stat easily surmounts his defense stat. One thing I guess I should note is, and this is why the half damage bug is as prominent as it is, defensive stats and offensive stats don't have a one-to-one relationship. For every 1 point of offense, it takes about 4 or 5 points of defense to offset it. So that's why the half damage bug is like an actual bug. It's not just the booster resist stat really affects the defense calculations that much. Poor Lucille. I'd like to be able to get rid of this guy if I can. But it's not a huge deal if I can't. Well, actually, I can just move Guts out of the way and then have Fu take the kill. I just moved the direction that Guts was facing there. To do that, you hold square when your cursor is over one of your allies, and then just move it in the direction with the D-pad. This allows you to set up stuff that'll prevent you from getting back attacked. I don't really care about Laharl getting a counter. I'll have him defend. Bosses generally tend to not like move on their first turn. They'll actually wait a bit. Some of them are programmed to make the offensive right away, but otherwise they tend to stay in one place. For the first couple turns, anyway. Okay. So I'm gonna heal... Actually, should I really bother? This one's weak to ice, so hit it with a Mega Ice. Hurricane Slash. And start working on this guy too. I'm gonna have Mina get out of here. For these story fights, I really want to keep the experience gain I'm getting limited to the characters I'm actually using seriously. What the heck? Once again, perspective screws me up. Gonna have a nice little combo going here. This doesn't finish it off. She'll be close to dead. Yeah, so that attack with the arrow should take her out. Okay, so that's one of them down. Well, let's see if Etna's been working on her strength and can actually take this guy out with the Sky Lunge. I'm gonna guess no, but I've been surprised before. Oh hey, good for you, Etna. Your training is finally paying off. So this is what Hogmiser can do. Decent attack, hits in an area around him. Not too bad, though. Ah, oh, damn it. I guess I'll have to go with Impaler. Just a thing, if you move your character into the zone of an attack obstruction, it will cancel out the attack action, so try not to do that. I was just checking Hogmiser's stats there again to see if he was afflicted with the half damage bug. As far as I know, bosses can't be afflicted with that bug. I've never actually seen it happen, so I wouldn't know for sure, but I'll keep an eye out for it anyway. Yeah, so that's why I took the time to build up Flan's skill with magic, because she just does a ton of damage with hitting enemies' weaknesses. I mentioned that before, but I just think that really illustrates it, because she did far and away the most damage out of all the attacks there, even when Laharl was getting that huge combo going. Anyways, I think it is fitting that Laharl finish off this boss. And there we go. Pretty simple fight. I probably could have gotten through that with less of my teammates dying, but I just wasn't too worried about it. Alright, let's see the next cutscene.
You lose. I'm taking everything as promised.
You can't! I won't be able to survive without my money!
Well then, I'll just finish you off now.
How cruel! Not only is he taking his money, but his life, too. I can't let this happen. If worse comes to worse, I'll stop him with my own 2 hands. Wait, you bully!
Who are you? Hogmiser's son? Let go. I won't go easy on you just because you're a kid. Hey, kid! Why are you risking your life for this greedy pig? You wanna die?
Don't you understand, Laharl? This is love.
Here we go again. Love, love, love. Is that all you've got in your puny little head? You damn love freak.
You can call me whatever you want, but why is it that you refuse to believe in love? You reject it because you're afraid of it. Isn't that right?
Laharl, my son. What do you think of me? Do you love me?
No, I hate you.
A typical answer for a demon. Which is fine for now. But one day...
Now she's got me thinking about my old man. My old man. What was he trying to tell me that time? This is stupid. Why am I even thinking about this? It's all that love freak's fault. Forget it! I've wasted enough of my time.
Huh? You're not going to finish him?
It wouldn't make me any richer. All right, start taking the good stuff. But make sure you leave some behind for them.
Laharl. Master Lamington, I finally understand. Those words you spoke to me. Master Lamington?
What is it, Flan?
The angels told me that the demons are all evil. Is that true?
What do you think?
I've never met one, so I don't know.
Listen carefully, Flan. There is no such thing as absolute evil or absolute good. The angels assume that they are good and the demons are evil. That is an unfortunate misconception. Demons do have love. The angels, and in fact most demons, just do not realize it. If we can guide them, if we can make them see, then one day...
Master Lamington, I will accompany Laharl for a little while longer. He is selfish, self-centered, and stubborn. And those aren't his only shortcomings. But I have discovered a hint of kindness in his heart. It may be small right now, but I have great hope that he will learn to love. So, Master Lamington, please forgive my digression.
Roaming the wild frontier, Etna is challenged by the Dark Chef Hal. A cooking battle death match begins that will shake the Earth's foundation.
Sounds cheesy to me, dude.
This week's dish, Cajun-style gumbo, and the ingredient, the Prinny Squad.
Dude, us?
Etna struggles to resist the powers of the dark side of cooking. But then, Ajikage, the ninja cook, appears.
Dude, what in the world?
Next on Fire Chef Cooking Gal Etna, Episode 4, Etna 120%. With a pinch of murder sometimes.
Yeah, hopeless, dude.
So, that was the end of Episode 3. And as you saw at the end there, not only did we get some extra money, Hog Miser joined our party, and I'll show him off in the next video. But it's interesting to see that Laharl is not quite as much of the hard-nosed villain as he likes to present himself as, and he does have the capability for mercy. But I'll save the game right here. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day.